Congresswoman Ilhan Omar made some notable remarks during a press conference in Minnesota yesterday. She said that our economic and political systems need to be, quote unquote, dismantled. Listen.
As long as our economy and political systems prioritize profit without considering who is profiting, who is being shut out, we will perpetuate this inequality. So we cannot stop at criminal justice system. We must begin the work of dismantling the whole system of oppression wherever we find it.
The whole system of oppression must be dismantled, she says. And that system is, she says, our economic and political system. So that's what she wants to dismantle, to be clear. Now, you listen to that and you really wonder whether any non-Western country would ever tolerate the absurdity of an immigrant coming to their country, obtaining political power, and then openly working towards the goal of dismantling the very system that gave them refuge in the first place. And the answer to that question is no. No non-Western country would ever tolerate that or allow it, and neither should we. Think about Ilhan Omar's position, okay? This country gave her everything. She came here for refuge, received it, and then was quickly given power and prestige beyond the imagining of most natural-born citizens, which you would think would mean that she would live every day in gratitude for America and what it gave to her. But instead, she despises America and most of its citizens. I have never heard her utter any gratitude at all. I have never heard her say thank you to America for giving her everything. Instead, she comes here, gets everything, and all she does every day is demand more. And that in itself wouldn't be so bad. I mean, being greedy and selfish that's a lot of people are that. That's common. But the worst part is that she demands more while slandering this country and its people. And you know, this country that has already given her more than most white people will ever receive. So it's the slander, the constant lies, the desperate attempt to make America seem like the nightmarish dystopia that she apparently wishes it was. Systems of oppression. Okay. What oppression? What are you talking about? What oppression exactly? And this is an important question, because Omar, along with everyone else on the left and in the media and everyone out there looting and rioting and protesting and tearing down statues, all of these people are talking about this oppression, this persecution, saying that they're oppressed. But none of them can explain what exactly the oppression is or provide evidence of it. And that's because it's imaginary. They're inventing it. It isn't real. They are not oppressed. Take this example, just one example of a million. There's an op-ed just published by Teen Vogue, okay, written by someone who goes by the Twitter handle Satan's Jacuzzi. At Satan's Jacuzzi is a Twitter handle. So you know this is going to be a thoughtful and persuasive argument. The op-ed argues that, quote, the United States is, by every indication, more committed to death, subjugation, and grief than life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. That's quite a claim. The United States is committed to death and subjugation. I can think of some countries that off the top of my head would really seem to fit that description. North Korea, for example. Is America as bad as North Korea? Really? Well, what proof is offered for that? The proof offered for this claim are the murders of 2 black women, which happened recently, completely unconnected. One was a woman killed while protesting on a highway. She was run over by a guy in her car. And another was a woman murdered a few months ago, a soldier who was bludgeoned to death. Very gruesome and horrible. The article takes these cases and makes them into Exhibit 1 and Exhibit 1A, which are supposed to show that America is this oppressive hellhole, a quote, vast tapestry of death, as the article puts it. And the Declaration of Independence is a lie because black people are being killed, and you know this is the argument being made. What the article doesn't mention anywhere is that both women were killed by black men. Why didn't the esteemed Satan's Jacuzzi use an example of a white man killing a black woman? You could tell that she would prefer an example like that, which is why she goes to great lengths to avoid talking about the actual. Now, she tries vaguely to connect these killings with racism, but she never comes out and says the race of the person who committed the murder. Why is that? Because it was a black man. Well, why didn't she just find an example, a recent example of a white man killing a black woman? Wouldn't that be a lot better for her point? Wouldn't that illustrate her point more? Well, the reason she didn't give us that example is because it's extremely rare that white men kill black women. White on black violence in general is a rarity. Black on white violence is in fact far more common. Here are the FBI statistics from 2016. 2,870 black homicide victims. 243 of the perpetrators were white. 2,570 were black. Now let's look at the white victims. 3,499 murder victims who were white. 533 of the perpetrators were black. Most of the rest were white. And you see, this is what happens anytime you do a simple fact check of these hysterical claims of oppression that are being made. The same with the claims of police murdering black people. As I've shown, as many people have shown repeatedly, there is no evidence at all for any kind of epidemic of racist police gunning down black people. Just to go over it again, what are the actual statistics on police killing people? According to a Washington Post database, and this is far from a far-right organization that's trying to, get police off the hook, 25 unarmed whites were killed by cops last year. 14 unarmed blacks were killed. The whole year, across the whole country. And it would be totally irrational to assume that all of those killings were automatically unjustified just because the person was unarmed. Remember that Obama's DOJ found that the killing of Michael Brown, who was unarmed, was justified because he was rushing at and trying to kill a cop. So many of the unarmed killings are like that. You've got a small minority of police killings that are unarmed, and a small minority of those that are questionable. And that's it. So the facts don't support these claims of oppression. And yet you've got people marching through the street with signs like this. You see these signs all over the place. Stop killing us, the signs say. Who are you talking to? Who is killing you? What are you talking about? The vast majority of people of any race who are killed by other private citizens of that same race. So who are you talking to? Are you protesting against murder in general? Are you saying that all murder has to stop in order for you to no longer be oppressed? Well, that would be ridiculous enough as it is, because murder will always happen in human society, especially in a country with 330 million people. But it's even more ridiculous than that, because these protesters with these signs aren't talking about murder in general. They're talking about an imaginary epidemic of white people and white cops going on racist rampages and murdering black people. An article in The Atlantic also makes this claim. It says, right at the top, it says, "I want white people to stop killing us." They're not. It's a very rare occurrence. That is extremely rare. More black people are killing white people than white people are killing black people. And in fact, considering that there are so many fewer black people in the country, the statistical likelihood that a black person kills a white person is exponentially higher than the other way around. This again is the reality. Plain as day. But the reality doesn't matter. Here's a tweet from McDonald's. Yes, that McDonald's, the one that sells Big Macs. But they've been tweeting far left, BLM propaganda videos for the last few weeks. And here's one of them.
I'm Amara Jones, founder of Translash Media. In this Black Lives Matter moment, black trans women have a very simple message. Stop killing us. We can't expect others to care about us more than we care about ourselves. We're all free, or none of us is.
Stop killing us. There it is again. But who are you talking to? Who is killing you? There is no epidemic of anti-trans murders. It doesn't exist. Yes, trans people are murdered. Everyone is murdered. Every group of people is susceptible to being murdered because we're all mortal and we live in a human society where crime happens. Okay? But in terms of there being an epidemic of trans people being murdered by transphobes who are just out killing trans people, that almost never happens. That is extremely, extremely rare. The vast majority of trans people who are killed in domestic violence or in drug-related or prostitution-related killings. But let's go back to the fact. So you've got the video itself, the claim being made in the video, which is absurd. But the very fact that this hysterical paranoia is being propagated by McDonald's, one of the largest and richest corporations in America. This video is sponsored by BlinkSale, the revolutionary invoicing software for contractors and small businesses. Spend less time billing and more time making bank with BlinkSale. Get a free trial at the link in the video description.